War on I-4 Diecast Racing.
Diecast. Endurance. Core. Series. 12 teams. 24 drivers. 2 classes. 1 champion. The time is now. It's showtime.
Welcome to War Night 4 Diecast Racing. I am your host, Cletus Papadopoulos, and today you're watching the qualifying rounds of the Diecast Endurance Car Series, the 12 Hours of Sebring. I'm here with my co-hosts, Chuck McAvee and Scooter Douglas. Chuck and Scooter, we're moments away from the teams making their qualifying runs as we go into round number 2. What's going to be your perspectives as we go into this race?
Well, Cletus, what I took away from race number 1 was the Dodge Vipers of Team Madness Motorsports and the Jaguars of Elephant Racing. They're fast, and in fact too fast for this track. Now they've managed to work some things out, and I'm sure they're going to be at the top of the pack, and I suspect one of those teams to take home a win.
Cletus, just to reiterate the point that Chuck was making, we're going to go back to race number 1 of the 12 Hours of Michelin. This is the lap made by Joe Rudy, and as you can see, this car breaks away from the pack and it is gone. This is by far the fastest lap I ever seen at Harrison Speedway.
Cletus and Scooter, we've talked extensively about how fast the Dodge Vipers are, but take in consideration, these Jaguars are also fast. They're right there when it comes to speed. They match up against the Dodge Viper very well. It's going to be important to see who can control that power throughout 12 laps. And back to you guys in the studio.
Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. We still have several teams competing, and they're very capable of winning this race. I agree with you 100%, Scooter. And in fact, I believe the first car is ready to make its qualifying run. Let's go down to the track for Super Pole. First driver to make his qualifying run is going to be Cesar Jimenez from Red Storm GP. Cesar Jimenez is driving the Solaire CX-4, which is loosely based off of the Aston Martin. That's going to be a time of 11.80 seconds, being that Cesar Jimenez is the first driver. That's P1. Next up, Tommy McKinnon from Mocon Competition. Now, Tommy McKinnon is competing in the prototype class, driving the Cadillac. Tommy McKinnon crosses the line with a time of 12.11 seconds. That's going to land him in P2 for now. We still have a lot of drivers yet to make their qualifying run. In the gate is Eddie Madrid from Club 23 Le Mans. Now, Eddie Madrid is driving a quite capable Mercedes AMG. The AMG Mercedes rumbles across the finish line with a time of 12.50 seconds. That's going to be P3. Now that's the first GT car to make its qualifying run. And here we have it, right on cue, the Madness Motorsports Dodge Viper. Ladies and gentlemen, don't blink. Team Madness Motorsports have several cars competing in this tournament. This is the number 10, driven by the Mad One. But Madwin is the first driver to put his car in the 10-second bracket, and that's going to be P1. The teammate to Cesar Jimenez, Ocho Marin, in the 69 Red Storm GP car is set to make his qualifying run. The 69 Solar crosses the line with a time of 11.79 seconds. That's going to be P2 for now. We still have a lot of cars to make their qualifying run. Can't hold out. And here's one of the vehicles that can also push the Dodge Viper. It's the Ferrari driven by King Yardy of Silverback Racing in the prototype class. King Yardy stops the clock with a time of 11.57 seconds, and that's going to be P2. Very solid time for that Ferrari team. The first Jaguar in the gate is ready to make his qualifying run. That's the number 34 of Miami Mike from Team Elephant Racing. Miami Mike puts that powerful Jaguar in P2 with a time of 11.54 seconds. Next, we're going to have Rachel Parks from Parks Racing Team driving the McLaren F1. Now, Rachel struggled a bit in the first race. Can she turn things around? Rachel got her McLaren sideways coming out of the last turn, and it's going to cost her a time of 9.94 seconds. It's going to put her at the bottom of the pack. Jimmy John is in the gate from Team Silverback Racing, driving the number 3 Ferrari. Jimmy John is a quite capable racer, so I expect him to be at the top of the group when it's all said and done. Not to be outdone, Jimmy John delivers a very fast time of 11.21 seconds. That's going to be P2 for him. Very solid time. Now, Cletus, this is another team we did not speak about, but as you can see, this car is very capable of winning this race. Yes, it is, Scooter. The Ferraris appear to have the pace. Another entry from Team Madness Motorsports is going to be High Octane, driving the number 55 Corvette in the GT class. For some reason, this car did not have the pace. A time of 12.83 seconds is going to put him second from the bottom. Let's hope they can get that problem worked out before race time. In the gate is Mr. Freeze, Ty Frozo, driving the number 28 Jaguar for Team Elephant Racing. Ladies and gentlemen, this car is a rocket ship on wheels. Ty Frozo takes over the number 1 spot with a time of 10.64 seconds. This is shaping up to be a competition between Elephant Racing and Team Madness Motorsports.
Cletus, we knew this would happen. Both of these teams will go at it for that top spot. Those 2 points are going to be valuable in the championship race.
And speaking of Team Madness Motorsports, the number 20 of Joe Rudy is in the gate. He's in the Dodge Viper. Can he best Team Elephant Racing? And yes, he can. Joe Rudy stops the clock with a time of 10.51 seconds. That's going to be P1. We do still have 12 cars to go, so let's see if this time holds up. Race fans, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after a few announcements. As I always say, grab a snack and come on back, because you don't want to miss a moment of the Diecast Endurance Car Series 12 Hours of Sebring qualifying round.
I4 presents Supercars.
Welcome back, race fans. We're pleased to announce War on I-4's very own Scooter Douglas and Chuck McAvee will be participating in the Diecast Supercar Series. Scooter, thus far, we've seen Madness Motorsports and Elephant Racing trade back and forth for the top spot in the qualifying round. Both Madness Motorsports and Team Elephant Racing appear to be the team to beat as we go into round number 2. But I'm going to say not so fast because you still have Simon Harvey still on the board. Now his car is consistent and he won the last race. He still has a chance to put his vehicle in the top spot. Simon Harvey for Team 6-37 Racing will make his qualifying run later in today's broadcast. But up next, we're going to have Turtle from Team West Belt Racing. Now, Turtle is in a newer version of the car he ran in the previous race. I expect this to be a good run. Solid run for Turtle. He crosses the line with a time of 11.29 seconds. That's going to be P5.
Curtis, I was a little nervous for Turtle. He's had limited time on the upgraded version of his vehicle, but he adapted well.
In the gate is going to be the teammate of Turtle, Cupcake from West Belt Racing in the prototype class. Cupcake stops the clock with a time of 12.52 seconds, P12. It's going to be interesting to see how this Rust Belt Racing team fills in as we go into round number 2. We know this car is fast, they just have to put it all together, and I think they're quite capable of doing that. In the gate is El Diablo Don from Diablo Ridge Racing driving the Golf Ford GT40. El Diablo Don clocks in with a time of 11.90 seconds, good enough for P10. Now, if you remember, this car, along with his teammate car, placed pretty well in the last race. They're going to have to do a little bit better if they want to step up to the plate to where some of these faster drivers are. The number 11 of Daniel Ricciardo has a solid car. It's pretty fast, and it's very reliable and consistent. This Club 23 Le Mans team has a pretty good grasp on the situation. Daniel Ricciardo clocks in with a time of 11.28 seconds, and that's going to put him square at P5. That's a solid run. The first of the monsters are in the gate, and that's going to be Matthew Harding from Team NZ Racing. Now, this team surprised everyone in the first race. Disappointing time for Harding. He stops the clock with a time of 12.73 seconds, and that's going to land him at P15. Now, Harding and this team, they typically don't qualify all that great, but when it comes to race time, they perform very well. In the gate is the teammate to Harding, Big Mike, driving the number 30 Mazda for Team NZ Racing, and Big Mike is also racing in the prototype class. Now this is an upgraded car from the one he ran in the first race, so let's see how it does. Big Mike crosses the line with a time of 12.44 seconds, and that's going to put him at P13 for now. There is going to be a bit of a learning curve as he gets closer to the race and adjusts to this new car. Ian Parks from Parks Racing Team is in the gate in the 52 McLaren F1. Both McLarens are struggling as Ian Park crosses the line with a time of 12.60 seconds, and I believe that's going to be P16 for him. They're going to have to get it together if they want to compete in tomorrow's race. Driving the Cadillac for Team Mokar Competition is Nasuka. Not the time Nasuka was looking for. 12.75 seconds is only going to be good enough for P18. Now here's a team we haven't talked about much, but they're very good. As a matter of fact, they finished first and fourth. Here you're going to have the 66 of Melissa Seguin from 6-37 Racing. Melissa crosses the line with a time of 11.43 seconds, and that's going to be good enough for P7. Driving for El Diablo Ridge Racing, Dina Neeson is the breakout star. She's competing in the GT class and set to make her qualifying run. Dina Neeson stops the clock with a time of 12.42 seconds, and that's going to be P14 for her. Cletus, we're starting to get to the last few drivers set to make their qualifying run. And another driver that's coming up is going to be Tux McBee. Yes, Scooter, we haven't talked a lot about Tux, but he finished third in the first race, and he's driving a very fast Corvette, and he's also racing for Team Madness Motorsports. Tux McBee positioned himself to have a great run at tomorrow's race, P5 with a time of 11.23 seconds. We're down to our remaining driver. All 23 drivers have qualified, and we have one more to go. And that's going to be none other than Simon Harvey from Team 6-37 Racing, and he's going to be driving that powerful and consistent Porsche. With a time of 11.60 seconds, that's going to put Simon Harvey at P11 as we go into round 2 of the Diecast Endurance Car Series. Joe Rudy holds on to the pole position for tomorrow's race. Well, race fans, that's our time. On behalf of my co-hosts, Chuck McAvee and Scooter Douglas, thank you for your time. God bless. Good night.
You're on I for Diecast Racing.